What's going on, guys? Welcome back to Season 2. This is Episode 5 of a Washed Up Sports Podcast. My name is Evan Klein, and I am happy to be joined by my co-host, Max Lindley.
What's going on, guys? Evan, thank you for the intro. We got an awesome episode for you guys today. We got an awesome interview, and then we're going to talk some UFC, some college basketball, some football, some hockey. It's a great episode. Let's just get right the hell into it. Evan?
We are an authentic sports commentary from the perspective of two washed-up athletes. Today's episode is brought to you by The Daily Scoop. The Daily Scoop is the premier dog walking and pet sitting service of Bergen County, located in Glen Rock. The Daily Scoop provides service not only to Glen Rock, but several surrounding towns as well. The Daily Scoop ensures that your pets are getting the best possible care while you can't be with them. Inquire for more at www.thedailyscoop.com. That's scoop with a K at www.thedailyscoop.com. That's the Instagram.
Daily Scoop LLC. You know where to find them.
Absolutely. So, let's jump right into it. Big episode today. We got Alex Neumann in the interview later, which was big time.
First, let's get into UFC 257. Klein's Corner last week. You talked about it. You previewed it a bit. So, first you want to recap, and then we'll get into it a little bit more?
Sure. Perfect. So, obviously, second round knockout, Poirer, McGregor. McGregor took some of those nasty calf kicks, which really did him in there.
Looked painful.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. So Poirier, props to him for shocking the world.
Absolutely.
Connor looked pretty nimble there in the beginning, but Poirier really, had that going for him. So this raises the question. People are asking now, what's next for the lightweight division? So let's assume Khabib said he didn't see anything that he loved at 257. So let's say he vacates the title, leaves Poirier as the champ. So let's see who do we think is going to fight Poirier next. So Connor obviously wants that rematch for Poirier Dustin against McGregor Connor 3. And then we have Oliveira, we have Gaethje. I guess we can look at Nate Diaz lower down the division. So I'm really not too sure who I think is going to get this fight. But if I had to give my best guess, I'd really like to see Justin Gaethje because, in my personal opinion, Justin Gaethje, he beat Ferguson, he got that title fight against Khabib, and of course Khabib beat him. Khabib's undefeated, and that's going to happen, but I think Gaethje against Poirier, that's really the fight that I would like to see personally.
Gotcha. All right, what are the other options?
So yeah, as I said, other options, we got Oliveira, Charles Oliveira, he's pretty good. And then there's also Nate Diaz lower in the division. So McGregor is also definitely an option there because they're tied 1-1 in that series. So that's also
that seems like what the viewers probably want the most. But
Definitely.
You think for UFC maybe it should be someone else more deserving.
Right.
Yeah. All right, that's understandable.
Right.
I get that. I mean, not being the biggest UFC fan, but I watched pretty much all of 257 the other night. I thought Conor looked good. I thought, once his calf, you could see it literally start to swell up at a certain point in the fight. I think it was after that first round. Once he kind of lost that calf, it looked like he was doomed. I still had hope for him because he's Conor freaking McGregor.
Right.
But I remember I texted you. I'm like, what the fuck just happened?
Right.
All caps, what the fuck just happened? It was just so, nobody expected that.
No, yeah, nobody did. And in the lightweight division now, there's a lot going on because obviously with Khabib retiring, and then he couldn't fight Ferguson back during the pandemic. Something came up where he couldn't do that because of, being in a different country during the pandemic, whatever. So we had Gaethje with the interim title, and then he fought Khabib, and it was all just like a big mix-up with all the interim titles, now the vacated titles, if Khabib chooses that, which things are kind of looking like he will. So there's just a lot going on in the lightweight division that isn't that normal right now. So in a couple months, once more things get settled, if Khabib vacates, and then we can finally find out who the true champion in lightweight is, besides Khabib, obviously. So then that'll kind of balance and figure everything out, I think.
Gotcha. All right. So that was a good, quick little recap.
Thanks.
We got some more Evan for some big Evan fans. We got Klein's top 25.
Absolutely. So I made a top 25 college basketball rankings, big college basketball guy. So
and I put a graphic, so it's gonna be right here for you guys. Check that out. You can see his top 5, everything. But yeah, Klein threw that together.
Yep.
Perfect.
So I have the top 25. So I'm not going to go through all 25 teams. So we're putting that graphic up there so you guys could see everything I did. But I'll just go through a couple of the big ones that I like, things that I did a little different. So obviously at number 1, I mean, everybody in the country has Gonzaga right now. And we've talked about it before on the podcast. I think during the front office episode with them when we talked about national championship picks, we talked a little bit about Jalen Suggs. Obviously, there's other great pieces to that team. But the way this kid plays at such a young age just amazes me every time I turn the television on. And I think that right now, with him as the centerpiece to this huge, this huge talented team, is just unreal. So I really like what Gonzaga is doing, and that's why I put them in my number 1 spot, as I think everyone would right now.
Just to quickly touch on a point you made, the thing about the young talent, I think that's something we're seeing throughout sports now, where, I mean, even high school sports is so much on social media, highlights and everything. Like, it's all like, it's all publicized. So like,
true,
the talent level, I don't know if it's because of that, but I've just seen it rise with it. I think that like the talent level at youth sports is just rising astronomically compared to how it was 20, 30 years ago.
Yeah, I mean, you see these guys on Instagram like Mikey Williams and Bronny James, like getting hyped up, dunking in the 8th grade and shit like that.
Exactly.
It's wild.
It's a different time, and it's certainly interesting. Certainly. I just wanted to touch on that a bit.
Let's doubt.
Continue. 2.
So, a few others I got. Yeah, 2 I have. 2's Baylor, 3's Nova, 4 Texas, 5 Michigan, so I flip-flopped those because I really love the way Texas is playing right now. Shaka Smart, he's a good coach, and I think he's had some tough teams to coach, and he's had a tough ride, but I do like Shaka Smart, and that might be a controversial take, but I do think Shaka Smart's a very good basketball coach. So, continuing on with the rest of my top 25, just one more thing I wanted to highlight on. I'm a big Rutgers guy for college hoops.
Big Rutgers guy.
Big Ten guy. Love to follow the Big Ten. And I say with the most confidence, I think everybody who follows college basketball would agree it's the toughest league in the nation. By far, every night you're playing a hard opponent. There's no nights off. There's no easy games in the Big Ten. So, I moved Illinois up a little bit from where they were because of their strength of schedule. They were down at like 16, 18, 19, like around that area. But I just think that, first of all, the talent on that team is crazy. I love the mix of, obviously, Ayo Dosunmu and Kofi Coburn are the 2 studs on that team. But like Andre Curbelo and Trent Frazier, Georgi Bajanishvili, these are guys who are unreal basketball players. And I think this team, their strength of schedule is so difficult, being in the hardest league in the nation, which is also why I gave Wisconsin some leeway. I moved Iowa just because I hate Iowa, but that's just the Rutgers fan in me. But yeah, that's why I did what I did with Illinois. I really like their game, and it's just a very, very skilled team. Play the game with passion. As a Rutgers guy, obviously we got the best of them earlier in the year, got the best of them once last year, so that's always fun. But that was my reason for that. And then, but yeah, if anybody else has any comments on the rest of my top 25, shoot me a DM, shoot a comment on the Washed Up Sports Pod Insta. I would love to talk more.
Or on the YouTube channel.
Or on the YouTube channel.
Feel free to comment.
Yeah, we love talking and interacting with you guys. So just shoot me some takes or whatever you guys thought about it. I'd love to talk.
Yeah, absolutely. So, without further ado, let's get to the main event.
We are now happy to be joined by Alex Nuemann, former Rutgers men's basketball team manager, general manager of Playing for Jimmy V. Alex, thanks so much for coming on with us today, man.
Yeah, thanks, man. Appreciate it.
So we're just going to get started with the interview. So let's start back at the beginning. During your time at Rutgers, you were the manager of the men's basketball team for all 4 years of your college career, correct?
Yep.
And so what was it like for you managing a Big Ten basketball team? And for those who don't know what a team manager's position entails, could you tell us a little bit about that too?
Yeah, sure. So it was awesome. I was a big Rutgers basketball fan before college. It's just kind of like been in my family, Rutgers. So started freshman year, actually after the season ended. So I started a little bit after the freshman season ended for me. So I was with Eddie Jordan for 3 years, and then with the current coaching staff my senior year. It was awesome. I mean, it ranged anywhere from water boy, like towel guy, like equipment person, to like practicing, like being like a practice player and like actually playing like kind of semi-live with like Big Ten basketball players, which was crazy because I never played higher level than rec basketball growing up.
Right. Yeah.
So that was like kind of insane. But it was just like working in the office, helping with scouting reports, helping cut film, filming practice, help planning travel, food, like getting takeout after the game for the team, that kind of thing, like taking food orders. So that like the day-to-day stuff like that, but then also like working in the coaches' offices, like watching film, that kind of thing. So you had like the basketball aspect of it, and then you had the logistics and the water boy and cleaning up and like putting the court out. So it kind of ranged all over the place. It was essentially a full-time job where you make absolutely no money, and you get like being able to travel and equipment for the most part.
Right. And of course, it's definitely not something you do like for the money. It's something you do because you love the game and, you know, you love basketball and stuff like that.
Yep, absolutely.
So what about your time managing? Did you really take away after college? And like, how did these things come into play for you today, would you say?
Yeah, I mean, so like the work ethic is one thing. Like like the coaches know, like just being in like an athletic environment like that, like it's all about work ethic and like the classic like first one to lead, first one in, last one out, like cliche. And like it applied to managers too. Like if you were around, like they noticed, like coaches noticed, like you were rewarded for that. So like I traveled, I went on every road trip sophomore to senior year, which was awesome. Like that was the best part of it by far. But like you get rewarded for those types of things. Like I was the head manager, like junior and senior year. Like you kind of, you get more responsibility. Like you're not getting a bonus in money, but you're getting like more gear, and you're just getting the recognition from the coaching staff, knowing that you want to be there. So that kind of thing has definitely helped. Like it helped kind of build like my work ethic, like now with my regular desk job, and just kind of having responsibility. I managed, like being the head manager, I was kind of in charge of the other managers, like the freshmen and the sophomore managers. So just kind of learning to manage like a team of that, and like keeping everybody organized, scheduling, that kind of thing, has definitely just kind of helped me.
That's really cool. Yeah, no doubt. It seems like you really learned a lot during your time there, and not only did you have fun with it, but it taught you a lot more than just that type of stuff. So that's really cool.
Yeah, and then just like obviously just like being around, like being able to like hang out with the guys and like know the coaches and like build relationships with coaches who have been around like NBA players, like Eddie Jordan being like played in the NBA, coached in the NBA, like just the guys he's been at, like Coach Kobe, like just the guys that he's been around is just like crazy to kind of like be able to like associate yourself with people like that.
Totally. And someone who probably wanted to work in sports, it was cool for that to be like a foot in the door a little bit, resume builder, that type of thing as well.
Yep, exactly right.
So you just mentioned started under Eddie Jordan. Steve Peichel took over after. Since then, Rutgers has gone on to be a ranked program, whole new culture. Could you tell us just a little bit about what you saw Coach Peichel bring to the program that helped create this winning culture at RU?
Sure. Yeah. So Coach Peichel, he built you saw what he built at Stony Brook. That program was nothing before he got there. Like they didn't even have an arena before he got there. And now they have this beautiful arena. They went to the NCAA tournament. They played Kentucky. So like he has like that program building mentality, which Rutgers needed. Like he found these guys who like we weren't going to come in and get 4 and 5 star recruits. Like it's just not going to happen. He found guys like Gio and Caleb, and kind of like built those guys, find these like little diamonds in the rough guys like that. Guys that just like work hard, and like the staff that he hired, like grind it out. Like, we're going to win with defense. Obviously the rack plays a big part of it, but like bringing like that toughness mentality, like no matter how much, like we might not be as talented as you, but like you're not going to come in here and just roll over. Like, it's just not going to happen. So kind of like that toughness mentality, like he's trying to bring like a Rutgers, like Jersey toughness mentality to the program, which was badly needed. So that, and like just the staff that he brought in, but like his mentality, like his work ethic is ridiculous. And like the players take after that.
Yeah, especially after, the drought with the tournament and everything. And this guy, Peichel, I mean, a lot of people in Jersey, Rutgers basketball starting to get more popular, but this guy's like playing defense on the sidelines with his hands up. He's going absolutely bananas. You could just tell he's one of those coaches who rides with his guys, and I think the wins speak for themselves at this point. He's a proven coach in the Big Ten now.
Yeah, I mean, he brings so much energy to the sideline, practice. Like, it's just like the guys they take after it. Like, and those are the guys he's trying to recruit. Those are the guys he's trying to build. And like, yeah, he brings so much energy and like toughness to the program.
I know I've heard things that people said, like when he was there, he would go around on Friday nights to like the fraternity houses and hand out food to the kids. Be like, thanks for coming to the games. Like, we promised you, we're turning it around.
He came to our house. Like, he came to the A Pie house. It was insane. Like, it was nuts. Like, he just showed up with a couple boxes of pizza and like a couple of the other coaches and just like talked to us for like 5-10 minutes. It was awesome. Like that. Yeah, that's crazy. That's like, but that's like they needed that at Rutgers. Like, there was the interest is going to go down if you lose, obviously, and like, right. But you needed that to kind of drum up the interest, and like that's part of the reason why like last year we were 18-1 at home. Like, the student section was insane. Like,
right, and they were selling out. They were selling out games like never before.
Yeah, and that's a huge credit to like Peichel and like just building that, and like the athletic department, like a huge credit to them. But like that's kind of like what Peichel brought. Like, he brought that energy and like he drummed up the interest that badly was needed.
Totally. So moving on a little bit to some of the stuff you're currently doing. So the basketball tournament is a tournament that happens every year on ESPN. Before we start talking a little bit about that, could you just give like your take on what the basketball tournament, TBT for short, people call it, what that is for the people listening that might not know?
Yeah, absolutely. So it's set up like the NCAA tournament, 64 teams, 4 to 8 regions, depending on how they do it. And essentially what it is you're going to have college alumni teams. So for this past year, Marquette alumni was the team that won. So the guys that play in this tournament are guys that maybe they played in the NBA for a couple years. Maybe they retired from the NBA, but it's mostly guys who are playing overseas. So Europe, Asia, Australia, huge basketball leagues. Euro League is huge. It's those kind of guys who are home in the summer because the off season is in the summer. They're home in the summer. They're coming back and they want to play with guys who they played in college with. Or friends from, like, sometimes you'll have teams that are like geographically based, like a New York team or like a Memphis team, that kind of thing. So they'll come back, you put a team together. There's a committee to get in, just like the NCAA tournament. Like, there's a selection committee. So you're being picked like based on how good your roster is, essentially. And like kind of the brand name of your team, if you're an alumni team or if you work with a foundation, that kind of thing. And then it's winner takes all. It's single elimination, winner takes all. Whoever wins the whole thing wins $2 million. If you lose in the championship, you get nothing.
Wow. So it's a real, all the marbles are, come down to the end there.
Yeah.
But so you started off actually leading Team United, which was a Rutgers center team. You guys lost a playing game for the tournament. This was how many years ago?
So this was the year after I had graduated. So 2017, summer 2017.
Gotcha. So now you've moved on to being the general manager for Playing for Jimmy V, which plays in the tournament. And tell us how you got involved with Playing for Jimmy V and what that's been like for you.
Yeah, so it started off as a Rutgers alumni team, as you said. I kind of did that based on like guys that I met at Rutgers when I was a manager. So like Miles Mack was our best player that Team United year. And I was there with him at Rutgers. He played in Poland. So he was on the team, and then we had a bunch of other Rutgers guys. CJ Geddes was on that team. And then we had a couple Stony Brook guys as well that we got to through Pikel. So started as a Rutgers alumni team. We lost that first game. Next year we ended up not doing it, and then we kind of said, all right, let's kind of open it up. I mean, Rutgers, no offense to Rutgers, but like we don't have a whole lot of alumni playing professional basketball the past year. So we kind of had to open up the player pool. We networked. It's me and my boy Matt, who is also a manager at Rutgers, and then Vinny Matrone, who was a manager at Rutgers as well. We're kind of the three who put it together. So we kind of just network. Vinny knows players everywhere. He trains guys, and he just knows so many guys overseas. We've networked with guys like literally through Instagram DMs, like that kind of thing, just reaching out, gauging interest. And we paired up with the V Foundation. So we kind of said, hey, Jimmy V, big Rutgers guy.
Absolutely.
A lot of people don't know that, but he is a big Rutgers guy. So we said, hey, this is an obvious connection. We reached out to the V Foundation. They loved it. So we work with them. If we ever do win the tournament, we will make a large donation to them. That's kind of part of it, which would be awesome. But it's cool. Like we have a V Foundation is huge in basketball. All coaches know what the V Foundation is. And then we were able to put together like a pretty good roster. And this summer is going to be our best roster yet, by far. So it's been cool. It's been exciting.
Absolutely. Correct me if I'm wrong. I think Jimmy V said family, religion, and Rutgers basketball.
There you go. There it is.
Yeah, the famous words from the big speech. So you talked a little bit about the guys you had Team United. So Corey Sanders, Deshaun Freeman, CJ Getty's actually guys you worked with during your time at Rutgers. Corey Sanders, big name coming out of high school and one of the best scorers in Rutgers history. So you guys, they're all playing for Team Jimmy V as well?
So Corey should be back this summer. He wasn't on the roster. So this past year they had a bubble. We got into the bubble, and then we had a guy test positive for COVID, so everybody got sent home. Corey looks like he'll be on the roster this summer, which he is having a fantastic season in Poland this year.
Let's go.
Putting up big time numbers. So we are excited for him to be back. But yeah, Corey will be back. I think Corey's probably going to be our only Rutgers guy this year. Mm-hmm. And then we have some local guys as well. Devin Kennedy, who's with the Magic G League team. He played for Princeton. He will be on the roster as long as he's not called up to the Magic. If I had to bet, I think he will be called up to the Magic.
Gotcha.
I want him to be called up to the Magic, but definitely a part of me wants him not to be because I want him on our team. He's awesome. I think he'd be like a top player in this thing.
Gotcha. And then also recently Hashim Thabit, one of the best players in UConn history, number 2 overall NBA draft pick. That's big time as well. Octavius Ellis, great player at Cincinnati. Some really big time players for you guys. I think that's really awesome that you guys are really making it happen with these guys.
It was awesome to have Hashim. Hashim is like the nicest guy. It was even like we practiced last year. We didn't end up to play the game because of COVID, but he was with us. Like we practiced. He looked awesome. Octavius Ellis is a great EuroLeague player. He plays in Greece. Like he's amazing. I think he'd be one of the best bigs in this thing. And then like Josh Perkins, who led Gonzaga to a national championship. Like he's a stud. So like we're trying to bring those guys back, and then we're looking to add a couple more.
Absolutely. And yeah, you mentioned before, obviously COVID interference is, nothing you can do about that, but looking forward, really big things coming for playing for Jimmy V, Alex Nuemann. So coming up this year, what should people, when they turn on TBT on ESPN, what should people look for really?
I mean, so this is going to be like by far the best year for TBT. I mean, they say it every year, but like the talent pool just gets so much bigger every year. There's going to be a ton of alumni teams this year. Like Isaiah Cannon has already committed to playing. Like there's just always new guys who come out. Like Tony Roten is going to be playing this year. A lot of ex-NBA guys. So like the talent just gets better every year. This year is going to be like last year they had to cut a lot of the good teams because they did a bubble. This year we're doing a full tournament. So they're going to have all the alumni teams. You're going to have different regions. So it's going to be more back to normal. It's going to be awesome. I mean, I think everybody missed the NCAA tournament last year. It just gives you like a little bonus basketball in the middle of the summer, like end of July, early August.
Absolutely, and it's a lot of people too that people don't get to see because they're playing overseas. But overseas basketball is really good quality basketball. There really is
It's
some great
awesome.
players over there.
It's fantastic, and like I watch it now because of TBT, like scouting and just like it's awesome. Like it's such a good product. It really is great, and there's so many good players. Like there's guys who you watched in college all the time, and then they kind of just disappear, but then they're fantastic players overseas. So yeah.
Yeah, definitely. A couple guys from my school, University of Buffalo, are playing over there right now. Devontae Jordan, most recently, a couple other guys. So, and I know like these guys are all good ball players. So it's really cool to see some of that come to life in the States with TBT, no doubt.
Yeah. Yep.
So a little bit of a bonus question we got. So let's talk a little bit about the current state of Rutgers basketball. You know, some tough losses in there. Tried to bounce back. Nice win against Indiana. Let's hear what Alex Nuemann has on this.
Yeah, man. So I mean, I've never been more excited about a Rutgers basketball team than like the beginning of this season. Like the way we started the season was ridiculous, and like Ron looking like a first-round pick at times. Right. Like the way he was playing was just insane. Came back. I expected us to come back down to earth a little bit for sure. The way we just kind of plummeted was shocking. I mean, like two completely different teams, and like the offense in the beginning of the season was amazing. And again, like I kind of expected a little bit of regression, but the regression was just crazy.
It'll be like 6 minutes where they just don't score.
Yeah, and it's just like two completely different teams. Like that second Ohio State game was brutal. That Michigan State game, like I felt really good going into that Michigan State game, coming off that Iowa loss. And like that, I think we win that Iowa game with a crowd. I don't even think it's really like a debate. I think if there's people in that stadium, like we win that game easy.
Absolutely. I mean, one different call and that game is a completely different game. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I mean, I like still can't really believe we didn't win that game. The Penn State loss was horrible. That Penn State team is not good. So for us to lose that game was disappointing. And like you could kind of see we got like our mojo back a little bit at the end of that game.
Yeah.
And almost came back and won it. So I did feel pretty good going into the Indiana game, and the Indiana game was a must-win. So like a huge game, winning a road game against the Indiana team coming off an Iowa win. I am still, I mean, like the Rutgers fan in me, like I'm never going to say like we're in the tournament.
You can't.
We're kind of like hovering right around the bubble now, which is how it was meant to be, I guess. But I do think like the Indiana game was big. I think we'll be able to turn it around. Hopefully, we got two big games this week. So if we can beat Michigan State
again, yeah,
I think like that's huge. Like if we can beat them, then I'm feeling really good about the rest of the year.
Definitely, yeah, and it's really not too late for a turnaround. They can definitely still make some things happen and get back into the top 20, get back into the top 25, get back into the March Madness pool without a doubt. But yeah, I mean, big one this Thursday, and then yeah, I mean,
if we can get Gio, how he was against Indiana, if we can get that Gio the rest of the year, that's big.
He always plays Indiana well. I like to see that. He had that big dunk last year against them.
Yeah, we need that Gio the rest of the season for sure.
No doubt. So, Alex Nuemann, appreciate you coming on the show, talking to me about all this good stuff, and wish you the best, man.
Yeah, thanks, man. Appreciate it.
All right.
Welcome back from the interview with Alex Nuemann. How about that, Max?
It was great.
That was awesome.
Like so interesting.
Yeah, dude. The pro vibe that you get from like the TBT thing is so cool. What happens there? Like a lot of people don't know about that, but that's on ESPN every summer, and that's really fun to watch. It's really good quality basketball. Shout out Alex Nuemann for coming on. I really appreciate that, man. It meant a lot. And what you're doing right now with Jimmy V Foundation is really cool. And what you did with Rutgers back in the day was awesome as well. We really love that. So
absolutely.
Shout out RU.
Some of the best basketball, in my opinion, is not or like the most organized basketball. Obviously, it's organized basketball, but it's not like where it's a season. You know
Yeah.
what I mean? It's not a season. I like tournament basketball because I feel like everyone, because you're not playing for a full season. Everyone's like, all right, I'm going to give my 150,000% for this stretch of time. So I feel like tournament basketball, tournament sports is always some of the most elite talent all at once.
It's win or go home.
Win or go home, and everyone's just do or die and giving their all. So I think, yeah, it's some of the best basketball sports to watch.
Yeah, definitely. We're excited to see what Alex and his team do going into TBT this year, so we'll definitely be tuned into that later in the year.
Absolutely. All right, so we had an electric weekend of football. 2 good games, 1 great game, the other not so great, but still a good game. So congrats to both Buffalo and Green Bay on fantastic seasons. I mean, making it to the AFC and NFC championship games is something to be proud of. I mean, Green Bay now 2 years in a row make it to the NFC championship game. Obviously, you want to make it to the Super Bowl, but that didn't happen. I mean, Green Bay, sometimes you just got to think to yourself, come on. Like, you lose the turnover battle. I mean, you win the turnover battle. Like, Tom Brady throws 3 interceptions and you lose the game. Like, that's just excuseless. You can't have excuses for that. And I'm not putting that on Aaron Rodgers whatsoever. I thought Aaron Rodgers played pretty well. I don't know who I'm putting it on. I'm just saying, to give up, like, to pick Tom Brady 3 times and still lose the game is an atrocity. If you're the Packers. And I think it's what ruined that game. Did you have any takes on that specific game, Klein? Like, what did you think watching it?
I mean, yeah, it was very interesting to see because, like, Brady played okay. Like, he had some, like, good throws and some good touchdowns, but then the 3 picks, you're like, what are you doing out there, Tom?
We
mean,
were talking to each other. We were like, what the fuck is this, Tom?
Yeah, so, like, but the defense stepped up. The defense really did step up, and they got the win, and that's all that mattered. It's not, everyone's always like, it's a Tom Brady game. No, it's a team game. There's so much other things that go into it. Like, and you know what sickens me? People are, like, texting me and shit, like, oh, Brady, now Belichick's a shit coach because Brady's doing well elsewhere. Are you seeing the Patriots didn't do well this year? Are you serious? That is so stupid.
Yeah, I'm not even going to touch on that because
That's just dumb. It's not even worth it's not worth my time, but I figured it pisses me off so much that I wanted to bring it up. But yeah, I mean, I like the Buccaneers' momentum going into the Super Bowl, and I'm really excited to see what happens. I think it's going to be great. Props to the Packers. I mean, a little bit of a choke, honestly. Like, everybody thought they were going to be the ones out of the NFC for a while, but congrats to Aaron Rodgers on an MVP season.
I mean, you picked the Packers.
I did. I thought they were going to win.
Yeah.
Congrats to Rodgers on an MVP season. Great season, guys.
Yeah, absolutely. Next up, the Bills. I mean, the Bills, it was a little bit of a different game the whole entire game, pretty much. I just had this feeling that they were not in it. Even when they went up early in the first half, I just had this feeling like the way Kansas City was moving the ball, the way they would bounce back when they made a bad play, I just had this feeling like this game is not close. Even though the score is close, this game is not close.
Yeah.
And it's unfortunate, but I think Buffalo definitely has the pieces it needs to get to that next level. It's just more about executing and figuring out how to stop Mahomes.
I like that take.
And I think that in the Super Bowl, I mean, that's really the number one problem the Bucs are going to face. It's not about stopping Tyreek Hill. It's not about stopping Travis Kelce. Yes, both of them are huge problems. They're big problems if you're a defense. They're huge problems. But your biggest problem is stopping Patrick Mahomes, making sure he stays in the pocket, making sure he can't stretch the plays.
True.
Getting pressure on him, making sure he's not mobile, pushing him out to his bad side. That's how you win that game. Getting pressure, and they got the defense to do it. So it's going to be a great game. We're not going to give any picks yet, but I figured we'd just give a little recap before we get into some hockey talk.
No doubt, yeah, some great games. Really looking forward to the big one.
Oh yeah, we're going to have a Super Bowl spectacular for that one.
Absolutely.
So get ready for that.
Get ready for all that. We'll get way deeper into the football stuff
Hell
for
yeah.
the Super Bowl spectacular. And while we're at it, today's episode of a Washed Up Sports podcast is in partner with Advanced Office Furniture. Since 2003, Advanced Office Furniture has been providing the New York metro area with the highest quality custom furniture. All the furniture is produced in the state-of-the-art manufacturing facility here in New Jersey and never outsourced. Your business is unique, so why don't you choose to furnish it with specialty furniture that is built to last? With high-quality, customized solutions, no matter what your needs are, Advanced Office Furniture will surely exceed your standards. During the COVID pandemic, many people have moved to a home office. Do not worry, anything for your home office, Advanced Office Furniture has you covered. Visit www.advancedofficefurniture.com for more.
Yes, sir. Check them out.
We love those guys.
Oh, yeah.
Shout out Moshe over at Advanced Office Furniture. Guy is the best.
The best. Shout out.
Gives us really fantastic support, so we just wanted to give Moshe a special shout out.
Special shout out. Thank you. All right. Lastly, before we wrap this up, we're going to get into a little hockey talk.
Let's go.
Let's go. So, Bruins and Devils actually are also rolling.
As much as you hate to say it.
As much as I hate to say it,
Go Devs!
The Devils are playing
Go!
well. They're playing pretty well. Islanders, in my opinion, no matter what the record is, I think the best team in the New York area right now. Like the Islanders, Rangers, Devils, that little batch, the Sabres in there too.
I mean, they should be the best. Like at the end, like going forward, but. I don't know. This is a COVID year. Lots is going on. The Devils look good without Heischer and Brad and Vatanen.
Evan's way too optimistic, guys. I mean,
I love the way they've looked so far. They've looked really good, especially for a young team that's like not supposed to do. I have no expectations going into this season, so to see them winning is like really nice right now. But it's still so early. 5 games in, like it's too early to even say anything.
You just get so optimistically excited.
I do.
They look good.
Mackenzie Blackwood was arguably the most important player on the team, and he just got put on the COVID list. So now Scott Wedgwood at Wedgewall on Instagram is absolutely going crazy with a shutout against the Islanders the other night. Come on!
He did play well. That was a good game. Surprising game, but good game. But, again, you keep on saying it's too early. I mean, I feel like it's the same with basketball, too. These seasons are too early because you have so many games. But, some early predictions, I don't know. I really don't.
It's hard
I've been trying to think about it for the past couple of days. Who do I think is going to come out and be one of the top teams this year? And I really can't say it.
Yeah, neither can I. I need to see at least another couple weeks before I can start making any sort of predictions. Yeah. Really. But
I know one thing. I know for sure. I think the Islanders are going to be there, no matter what.
Yeah, they're going to. I think they'll make the playoffs.
100%. But I think they're going to be at the top of the playoffs, and no matter what seed they are, they're going to compete with the top teams in the playoffs.
Interesting.
I just like what they did last year, and I like the way they've played this year so far, even though they've had some shaky games.
I could see the Lightning repeating.
I would not like that.
No, neither would I at all. I would hate that. In fact,
but
they're really good.
I don't know. Again, too early. Keep saying it. Too early.
Once we get Maselli back on here, I want to get more in depth into the Devils talk. I can also. I know there's a lot of Rangers fans listening. Probably I can talk Rangers all day too. I hate them, but I can still talk.
The Rangers don't look horrible. I mean, they're looking pretty much on the same pace as the Devils right now. I mean, they're both growing teams who drafted pretty high over the past couple years.
We outplayed the shit out of the Rangers the other night. Wasn't even close.
But that's one game, Evan. I'm talking about the organization.
I know. You're right. I just get too carried away. You know me with this shit.
Yeah, bro. I mean, I'm just trying to say, the Rangers have looked good for for what they're trying to do, for what they're trying to accomplish in the New York Rangers facility. They're trying to build a culture, build a new kind of winning franchise. They look good.
Fair enough. I would slaughter the Rangers right now and just absolutely give some Rangers slander, but I know we probably have so many Rangers fans.
We probably
listening,
do, man.
So I don't
I'm
want
trying to be nice.
Yeah, exactly. I don't want to get you guys disengaged or anything. So let's see what happens. I'm always down to talk Rangers. Hit me up for that anytime. I'm always with that. The hockey talk. I love that.
Where did this hit me up come from?
I don't know. It just flowed. I don't know. It just came to me.
You've said it a couple times. You want people to hit your DMs, giving you. You want to.
I love I love arguing with people about sports and just talking about it. It's just fun for me. I don't know. I've been bored lately. There's pandemic.
Yeah, no, I hear you. I just wanted to know where it came from.
I mean, I start my online classes on February 1st, but I'm still down to, mix it up in the DMs with the sports talk.
That's more what I was asking, why are you so adamant?
Or just comment on the Washed Up account.
Yeah, totally.
I don't know. I don't know. You're right, it is kind of out of the blue.
It's out of the blue, so I wanted to know what it was about.
Fair enough.
All right. So Vegas, hot, best team in the league right now, pretty much.
Yeah, dude.
I mean, one thing I was
Max
telling,
Pacioretty.
dude, one thing I was telling my sister, a little long-term kind of thing. Seattle, they're starting in a couple years. They're gonna be, they get a head start because if you think about it, they have the expansion draft, and you're picking from the greatest pool already. You don't have to start with draft picks,
Right.
like the way you would as a regular franchise. You don't start with debt like you would as a regular franchise. You don't start with money that's already accrued on the cap. So like Vegas, since they've started, has had this advantage because they have like this elite talent pool, and then they draft players, and then you know what I mean. They haven't had any previous losses that have harmed their future. You know what I mean?
Yeah, dude. I mean,
It's something to think about.
The way that the NHL expansion draft works, I'm not sure how I feel about it because you clearly saw how Vegas came into the league and was like amazing from the start. Like nobody thought that was supposed to happen.
Exactly. That's what I'm saying.
So,
So that's gonna happen with the Seattle
Kraken.
Kraken.
I'm worried they're gonna take like Miles Wood from the Devils. That would really piss me off. Who do you think they would take from the Bruins?
I'm not sure. I haven't thought about it.
I think the way it works is like you can protect like a lot of your forwards, a few defensemen, and then one goalie out of your two. And the thing is, the way Marc-Andre Fleury worked was because they wanted to protect. They had I forget what his name was. The other goalie, who was the goaltender when they were in the Stanley Cup, the Penguins. I forget what his name. Matt Murray. Yeah, so they protected Matt Murray, so that left Fleury up for grabs.
Matt Murray was like, honestly, I'm not lying when I say this. He was right there with Fleury at the time.
Exactly.
Like, it wasn't a bad call by the Penguins, but it helped the Golden Knights out so much.
Exactly.
That's what you're getting at, right?
Right.
I don't mean to cut you off, but
no, right. So this was the thing. Because they protected Murray, this left Fleury up for grabs, which is why he ended up with Vegas at that time.
Yeah.
So that's what I'm saying. Like I'm thinking about like I think the only player from the Devils Vegas took at the time was John Merrill, and like he was irrelevant to the Devils, so I didn't even care about that. But I'm like actually worried they could take like a young guy that we can't afford to protect in the expansion draft.
Yeah, I'd be worried about. I mean, I kind of wanted to touch on this earlier, so I'd be worried about them taking someone like the Bruins' young guys, like someone like Jake DeBrusk or Jack Studnicka or like Sean Corrali type.
Right.
Like these hard-working type of Bruins that maybe we don't have enough people to protect.
Right.
Enough
I
spots to protect.
I think that DeBrusk would definitely get protected, but Corrali, yeah, maybe Corrali.
I mean, Corrali is such a strong centerpiece of that team. So
maybe
I'm
like
not sure.
maybe like Richie. I don't know.
I don't
thinking
even
maybe
know,
Richie,
man.
like
I'm trying to think because like it's you would think Krejci would get protected. Pasta,
he will. Oh yeah, 100%.
Berge,
Yeah.
Like a couple of defense.
You can protect. You protect like most of your players. Like I think.
Yeah, Charlie Coyle, Charlie McAvoy. You'll get a ton that are protected.
You can protect. Like everybody except for like two like starting forwards or like it's basically most of your players.
Yeah, then I'd say probably Jack Studnicka.
Yeah,
he scored his first goal.
Nice.
Recently, Matt talked about that a couple podcasts ago, so I wanted to mention that. So another thing I wanted to touch on, just poke fun at Maple Leaf fans. Do you like Maple Leaf fans?
I don't mind. I like Austin Matthews, so
I'm not a fan of Austin Matthews.
Oh.
So Maple Leafs are also playing extremely well. They're right there with Vegas and with the rest of them at the top. Except it doesn't really mean anything because when have the Maple Leafs ever done anything worth a fuck?
Yeah, always come up short.
I mean, seriously, like the Maple Leafs doing well in the playoffs is such like a nefarious thought at this point.
I gotcha.
Yeah.
They have the talent.
No, absolutely. It's just like the way that they are. They just shit.
They literally have a big. They have a big three. It's crazy.
I know. Like they have the talent.
Yeah.
They just are not good.
Yeah. Sometimes they look great. Other times they're like, "What is this?"
Yeah, exactly.
It's weird because they have star power, so I don't understand it.
Exactly. I mean, it is what it is. All right. This has been a fun one, huh?
Absolutely.
It's been a little short one, but it happens sometimes.
Right.
We'll be back with that Super Bowl special next week.
Absolutely. The Super Bowl spectacular.
The spectacular special.
Follow the Instagram. Subscribe to the YouTube.
Heck yeah. Gotta do all that.
Giveaways coming soon. All that.
Yup. Check out our sponsors. The links are all in our bio. Check out all of the links in our bio. You're going to want to check them all out. Promise that. Subscribe. Leave a comment if you want. Let us know how you like the video. Podcast every Thursday. I think you guys already knew that, but podcast every Thursday.
Blessings.
Blessings. Until then, peace.